This is the ultimate guide on how to start a profitable city on the easiest map in City Skylines 2. If you just want an overview of the map and how to get it, I made a video about it. You can find it linked in the description or in the info card. I just spawned into the city. Let's keep the simulation speed at 1. We have no milestones and not many things to build. But the great thing is there is already an intersection built here that we can expand on. And this is also already where the first tip comes in handy. Sure, we could just start zoning these areas here, but I think they are a prime location for services because they have immediate access to the highway that could lead to different parts of towns. Therefore, I will start the city by expanding this grid a tiny bit, and I want to keep it uniform. So let's check how long this distance is. It's 176 meters. So I'm just going to take out this road for 176 meters, just like that. The road kind of looks different. That is because these other roads were built with the road builder mod, but you don't need this. What I'm doing here is fully vanilla. Next, the road will be expanded, of course. And I'm also continuing this 4-lane road right through here. With that, we have built our first area to zone, and there is just one thing left. I want to control where the zoning will be. So I'm adding pedestrian paths here on both sides. It will result in the houses being zoned to all go towards one direction. Let's plop some down. Normal low density housing, just right here. They spawn in immediately, and of course we will need more. So I'm just going to expand this for another 2 grids. With 2 more grids, we can zone more residential and a tiny bit of commercial as well. Now you will see that these people are all complaining about electricity and water. So we're going to provide it with the cheapest option. That is a small water tower that doesn't generate traffic, so we can place it close to an intersection right here. Then for electricity, we have a lot of opportunities on this map since there is a lot of wind. I'm just going to place them up here where there is the highest wind speeds. It's just 1 for now, but it will most likely be multiple at a later point when we need them. Of course, connect up the electricity grid, and with that people have electricity. And finally there is sewage, but since we only have a sewage outlet, I'm just going to ignore it for a second until we get the first milestone to then build a water treatment plant. So we don't have to dump poop somewhere out here, and we don't even have a river. We're still missing industry, so I'm going to build out 3 more grids if they fit in, and then we're going to get in a bit of industry. With this grid built, I'm going to move in a tiny bit of industry with a bit of space between the residential and the industry, and we can even fit in more commercial. The thing for the city to look nice, and I also like to do it because it gives more profits, I don't actually want to build too much of this normal industry. I want to build offices, but also specialized industry. That is great for the city because we have a lot of space for farming and even some wooded area. Therefore, I'm going to try to satisfy the industrial demand that we have in the city with farming areas. A good place for them is probably along the highway because it wouldn't be a place where many people would want to live anyway. I'm just going to extend out this road, and it will then house a grain farm, and quite a big one at that. You could also make many small farms, but I'm not optimizing for visuals right now. That means I'm just zoning this completely. Let's move the last node here in the top, make it look nice, at least a tiny bit. Don't worry about all these complaints about sewage, it isn't too big of a problem. And next up, I'm just going to add another farm with a bit more of an interesting shape on a dirt road up here. So there is a bit of variety, and I'm zoning it along the shape of the highway in the best way that it is possible. You will need to make many small nodes, but if you're patient, it will work out. And now we have 2 quite big farms here and just a tiny thing for optics. It's not important for your profitable city. Just continue the roads in some way that they make sense. And there's something I like to do to wind turbines, which is small circles around them like that. Kind of a maintenance road, makes them look somewhat interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. It serves no purpose at all. We just unlocked milestone 1. This gives us many things, but most importantly for this city, higher density. With these new tools at our hand, I'm going to expand the grid that we currently have. And now we can start zoning some medium density to get in way more people. Of course, expanding the commercial as well, and a tiny bit of low density. We now have a few more services that we need to build. We have the healthcare clinic, Let's start with a small one, just right here in the space for services, and also a cemetery, which I'm just going to fit in right here next to the farms. In terms of density, it makes a lot of sense. Last thing we need to build is a landfill. Sadly, that is because it has a lot of pollution. I'm going to use this area here, and I'm breaking up the grid a tiny bit. This is where the industry is at, and it can fill a good amount of space back here. It doesn't turn it into a beautiful area, but at least it's in the industry area. And now we just got small village milestone, which is incredibly important to us because, well, we have still people complaining about the sewage, and now we got enough progression points to unlock the water treatment plant. It's a very expensive facility, but we can get it down right here, also in the industry area. That took most of our money so far, and money is now really becoming a problem. Let's take a look at the budget for the first time. We are minus 240,000 a month, which means we won't survive for longer than really 1.5 months right now. That means we need more tax revenue, and that in turn means we need a higher population, which we're going to get by increasing the density around here. The concept I'm now going to apply is something new that I also haven't used in a previous city, but I think it can fit in here quite well. So on the small street, important that it's not the big one, I'm going to use alleyways because these are the tiniest roads we can have. Zone them along the established houses just towards the end. I'm going to do that on all the sides of the grids. Of course, again, break up the zoning where we don't want it. It will look like this. And now we can add even more row housing just in between there. This will increase the density by a lot. You see all them already coming up. We're at 1,000 population and it's growing fast. That means we're running out of electricity. Good thing we have the beginning of a wind park up here and a lot of space for it. So another wind turbine it is, connected up to the same electricity grid, and another one of these circular roads because I just like them. And you can even connect these different wind turbines. It's starting to look like a very, very small wind park. Let's get back to the city. It's growing fast. We already unlocked milestone 3 large village. And with that, we have a lot more essential services that we will need to provide. First of all, a firehouse, a police station, I'm using the small one, and ideally even some education. And this is taking so much of our money, and we didn't even make much progress in our expenses, but we can actually lower them by adjusting service fees. Healthcare, we have a clinic, but our town is still very small, so we don't need it working at 100% efficiency. Garbage, it's the same thing. Education, we don't even have a full school. Fire, we can put it to 50%. Same as police, there's almost no crime and almost no fire. They will still be working fine, at least for the time being. But it means we're only losing 200,000 a month, which soon will be quite less. If you unlock any special buildings, I just unlock this one. Place it down because it only has advantages. You're getting extra happiness and for some building even other perks. There's no downside in building them. Next up, we have some more custom industry that we can build, vegetable and textile. I want to get in some vegetables right now, so I'm just going to place it here. Great thing is there's so much room to expand on this map and just give it a really, really big area to farm. We can add some roads around it later, and there's some small buildings spawning in here. We still have a bunch of industry demand, and since they pay good taxes, let's zone a bit more, but not too much. I don't want it to be a giant industrial town. We can even increase the taxation for industry a tiny bit. This will reduce demand, but I don't want much industry demand anyway. I'm just going to increase the taxes until the industry demand is almost gone. I think if I increase it to 13%, you will see in the orange slider, it's dropping even more to a tiny sliver. This looks good, so it will be at 13%. And residential, we only have demand for low density, but I don't really want to zone more low density, at least not in this area, because at the end of the day, it will become quite a dense area. One thing you can always try if you're in a struggle for money like I am right now, you could export electricity. For that, all you need is a transformer station. I'm just going to put it right here. Connect it up with the power lines, just like that. And now, well, we don't have too much money anymore, but you can always build wind turbines to export electricity. I'm going to try it, and what I'm doing right now is probably not a good idea for you, but I'm going to take a loan of 100,000. We're currently making 0 from exported electricity. This loan is costing us 6,000 a month, but I will use it to build 3 more wind turbines at the highest efficiency. of 5 megawatts right down here, connect them up to the other ones. We can see the electricity flow here, and this should result in us exporting electricity and possibly making more than the loan payment that we just got. Let's see if it worked. Yes, we're now exporting 33,000 worth of electricity each month, or now it's even up to 40. And the loan we just took is costing 6,000 a month. So it's really worth it. So much so that I will even spend the last amount of money I have on another wind turbine to make even more. Right now we are going into the minus, which is a really bad situation to be in, but it's also a great example to show you how you can manage it. If you have demand left, what you can always do is zone more to get in more people. Right now I'm going to use that by expanding some of the low densities. This will get in a few more people. Then by necessity I'm going to zone the rest of the industry. We're still losing money really fast. And there's one other really good way that's kind of cheaty, but we're losing 80,000 a month. So I'm just going to disable services for that. This one costs 60,000 a month, disabled. The school costs 30,000 a month, disabled. Now we are 19k in the minus. Cemetery is really expensive, just turn it off. Now we're making money. Of course, we can't keep going like this forever, but this is how you can turn your city around, even from a situation where you took a loan and a situation where you were losing money. Now we're making a tiny bit amount of money. Of course, this video won't end before we have all the services sustained while also being profitable, but sometimes in the beginning, this is what you will have to do. I'm now just waiting for the next milestone that will give us more money, and here it is. Another 100k and a lot of extension permits. Let's close that up. And this is a really important milestone because we just got offices, and offices are great because they pay a lot of taxes, and that will help us. We're now up 40k a month, which is great because with that we can re-enable the cemetery. They will keep going. We have some low rent housing demand. Let's put it right here, as well as some more medium density housing right here. It will probably here when we expand in this direction, but right now we don't have the money to really expand. We can get in a park because why not? It will make people happy. Public transportation is something for a future video if you're interested in that. And just like that, we have our first higher density buildings being built. That means our city is growing really fast. 500 people an hour. And a city that's growing fast means, well, more money. Without doing anything, just the city growing fast, we're now up to 70k a month that we are making in profits. Therefore, I'm going to activate the school again, as well as the garbage collection. And even with that together, we are making a tiny profit. It's fluctuating a bit, but that's normal. We're still exporting 50k of electricity. We can also hook up our water lines to potentially export some water, but we don't have much surplus of that anyway. Let's take a look at the taxes. We're getting most of our money from industrial, and that is only because we increased the taxes. Office, with just a tiny bit zoned, is also really getting up there, and the next biggest part is residential. Let's let the city grow for a second and see if any problems occur. I did not mention it, but now all the services are back up running. We have a sewage treatment plant that is way under capacity. It will still be sufficient until a way larger city. We have garbage running, we have a cemetery running, we have even education in the city, and it's not even filled up, though it will be soon. And we have a ton of people queuing up here to move into these new homes that I built. After letting the city run for another few minutes and detailing the wind park back here, it looks quite great. We have a bunch of housing, a lot of space to expand. We're making 190,000 a month right now. We can even pay back the loan that we took before, so we're not borrowing any money. We have demand for everything, and we can even start buying up new tiles to expand the city towards the direction of the infrastructure. This means we have established a functioning city that is ripe for expansion, which is now up to you. Or if you have anything you want to see next, or me continue this city, let me know in the comments. Again, in the description, there's the video linked of a tour of this map without being anything built and how you can install it. Happy gaming.